Hey everyone, welcome to me and Grok in the kitchen. I'm going to make today mashed potatoes for one or two, depending, on how much you like mashed potatoes. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is I am using a Yukon Gold potato. If you cannot find Yukon Golds, use just like a regular white potato, all-purpose potato, something like that. These have the perfect texture, the perfect starch amount to make a really good mashed potato. Don't use russets. If you have questions about this, go ahead and check out my other video about potatoes and their best uses, how to pick the best potato for what you want to do. I'm going to just peel this. Now, I'm going to do for two people, I'm going to do at least two this size, maybe three, depending on who's eating. If it's just me, I'm eating two. But just kind of judge that this is, what this is the serving, right? You're going to peel it. This is going to be your serving. And is that enough? Is this enough potato for you and what you're doing? Or do you need more? Kind of judge that way. So real simple peel. Okay, now I want you to take a look at the potato. See, I've gotten most of the skin off, but it's got these little spots in it. They're called the eyes of the potato. I do not know why. But you know what? I bet Grok does. Let's ask him.
Hey Grok, why is the eye of a potato called the eye? Oh, because they're called eyes primarily because of their visual resemblance to eyes. The shallowy pits look like sunken eyelids when a tiny bud starts forming. Oh,
Okay, well, now we know, don't we? Okay, all I do know is that when you have eyes on your potato, they're not good eats. You cannot use a ricer or anything. You cannot get rid of that texture. These do not cook down into nice creamy mashed potatoes. So, little thing on the end, just dig those little eyes right out. You don't want any part remaining. Alrighty, there we go. Oh, there's one there. Don't want to miss it. Okay, absolutely perfect. Wonderfully peeled potato. This is exactly what you're looking for. Okay, now let's talk about the proper way to cut a potato in order to cook it properly. So basically what you're looking for here is you're looking for each piece of potato to be approximately the right size. I've talked about this in different videos before, that when you're chopping and those sorts of things, you're making anything with chunks, you really want those things to be as close to the same size as possible and density, because they will cook unevenly. Otherwise, you could have a big chunk of potato that everything else in that pot is done, but the potato's not. So you really want them to be uniform. The other thing is they'll cook a little bit faster if you're careful about uh, how much surface area it has. So this is how I like to do my potatoes. They cook up real fast, usually 15 minutes, and they're done and ready to be mashed. First thing I'm going to do, cut my potato in half. Go this way, and then I'm looking about a half inch. Okay, just so we can see. See, they're close. All right, Amberelle is not going to show up and put mackerel all over my hands just because this potato is slightly bigger. I'm a home cook. It'll be the way it is. All right. Again, it kind of sometimes helps if you do a little slide, as your potatoes are, maybe damp. They're going to try to stick. Don't worry about it. Notice even with these bigger potatoes, I'm still just doing the half, because what I'm mostly concerned about is this kind of width. Okay, I got nice, evenly sliced potatoes here. I'm going to put these into a pot of cold water. I'm going to add some kosher salt, maybe a tablespoon, and get them onto high heat. Once they come to high heat and they start to boil, I'm going to turn them down, let them simmer, let it go about 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and fork tender. Try to remember that when you're cooking your potatoes or carrots or anything that you're cooking in water like that, to be careful of how much water you have in your pot. You're really looking to have a half inch to an inch of water above whatever your vegetable is. And if you have more than that, it actually takes a lot longer for that water to come up to a boil because it's got more area that it needs to warm up. So keep it within a half to an inch just above. And with that, we're just going to turn them on and let them come to a boil. Turn them down, let them come to a simmer, and let them cook until they're done. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and check my potatoes to see if they're done. I'm looking for something called fork tender. So here's my fork. Here's my potato. Oh, yeah, see? Holds its shape, but comes apart. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain these in my colander, and then I'm going to put them right back into the hot pot. The reason for that is because I want some of that extra liquid, that extra water, to kind of dissipate and go away. That way it won't mess with the texture of my potatoes. Okay, see all that extra steam? I want all of that extra water to go away. So I'm going to let these sit just for a second, because one of the things you do not want to do is to let your potatoes sit too long and then try to mash them, because that's not going to work either. So give it just a minute. And while we're doing that, let's talk about some of the things that I have laid out in front of me. So I have salt, because again, want to add my own salt and it's probably going to need it. I have canned milk, but evaporated milk, just plain old, we call it canned milk. Can't show you, it's got a label on it. And then I have some butter. The most important thing to me here is the butter flavor with that little bit of salty. You can use salted butter at this point, but don't add any salt until you've tasted your potatoes with the salted butter in it. I'm using unsalted so that I can add salt as I want to taste. All right, so my potatoes are looking really good. And I'm going to put them in my bowl. Now, you're probably also asking me, why did you transfer them out of your pot and into a bowl? Very simple. That's a nonstick pot. I don't want to ruin my pot by what I'm going to do with the mashing. So keep that in mind. Stainless steel, cast iron, whatever you're using, that kind of stuff, doesn't matter. Take good care of your nonstick stuff. Okay. So the other things that I have here is I have two different tools. And the reason why I have two different tools is because I want to show you that you have some choices. Now, if you really are part of the struggle meals crowd, use a fork, mash them up, add your butter, add your milk, add your salt if you need it. It's fine. It's your potatoes, your mashed potatoes. Do them your way. But there are a couple of tools out there that can help you with the job. The first is plain old potato masher. Now, notice the holes, right? The holes. This is a really great design for a potato masher, and it's rated really high. It's got a great handle. It's got a little thing here so that it doesn't go up against the bowl, what have you. Super easy to use. Just down, mash, mash, right? Then you just And you just do that until it's the consistency that you want it to. I'm not doing it that way though, because I got a little bit of arthritis in my shoulder and I don't want to make it worse. So I'm not going to do the manual process. But keep in mind, this is exercise. So I'm going to use my other tool, which is my hand mixer. I'm going to start on low so that I don't throw potato all over my kitchen. Okay. So what I'm looking for here is to just to break up all of those big pieces, not to fully mash them yet. They'll be much easier to mash once I add a couple more things in. The first thing I'm going to add is my butter. Yes, 5 tablespoons. This can handle it. I put in that much butter because I love the flavor of butter. And why not? And that's the most important flavor out of all of this to me in mashed potatoes. Okay, the second thing I'm going to add is my canned milk, my evaporated milk. I'm not adding very much there because I don't really need a lot. I want to make sure that I have a decent texture, so I'm not quite ready to add a lot more in. And I'd rather start with a little and add more as I need it than to add too much and have my potatoes not be the right consistency. So a little bit, see what you got, add more if you need it. Okay, so these are not that far off, but I am going to add a little bit more just so I can whip them up really well. Okay, let's get after it. Okay, and just like that, you've got mashed potatoes. Now, before we're done, let's check that salt level. I think we add a little more salt. Not a lot, just a little bit. And they're a little dry, so I'm going to add just a little more evaporated milk. Okay, I think we've got it. So good. Now, I do want to say that when you make mashed potatoes this way, this doesn't mean you're going to have no lumps. Really, the only way to make sure that you don't have lumps is to cook your potatoes to death, which, no, or to use a ricer. And nobody wants to use a ricer for a weeknight meal. So don't worry about it. If you are one of those people who doesn't like lumps, if you get one in your potatoes, mash it. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to follow me on social media at Me and Grok in the Kitchen. And remember, life is too short to eat bad food.